Kalonzo Musyoka, Fred Matiang'i ticket is the best ticket that can leverage on almost or even sending President William Ruto home. This is the fact. This is a fact. Welcome back to Real Talk Republic podcast, all the way from Kiafrica Studios. And by the way, before we talk much, ensure you subscribe. And I am Arego. Now, yesterday's political NDC of Wiper that was attended in Uhuru Park by Kalonzo Musyoka, of course, the party leader, Fred Matiang'i, and other United Opposition affiliates, rose much into the public eye, especially after these leaders, United Opposition leaders, snubbed Jubilee NDC. And while in campaigning, you see, Jubilee was having their NDC, and for them, their grounds. And while campaigning, they alleged, wakisema, like, Matiang'i ni project. Get this. Up to yesterday, Wiper Party was still in Azimio coalition. And you remember past, Azimio party leader or coalition leader, Uhuru Kenyatta, said Jubilee is still in Azimio. And yesterday, Wiper said we are out of Azimio. Now, this is a confusion for opposition. But before we delve on the reason why Matiang'i Kalonzo ticket is the preference or the best that can do it all, neglecting or leaving alone Gachagua Kalonzo ticket, let's find much on what they had to say about Matiang'i before Matiang'i attended the event yesterday. So, formally, or according to the statement yenye ali-release Rigathi, anasema like, I was afraid of Fred Matiang'i because I thought because he joined Jubilee Party, and with him in Jubilee Party, it was going to make the party so influential in Murima more than DCP. And that one raises a question. Is DCP only modeled or intensified to ensure that Murima becomes their home ground? But in Kenya, most political parties are regionally based. Their strong bases are from the region where the leaders comes from. Now, he said, Gachagua, that our agreement was so simple and we have come into terms with it. But on his side, Kalonzo never criticized Matiang'i or never talked ill about him. In one of the interviews with media outlet, he said, Mi sioni chochote ya criticize on Matiang'i because I've never worked with Matiang'i that close. But he said he also don't know much about Matiang'i because he have never worked with Matiang'i. But yes, he have never worked with Matiang'i because it's only Raila who was in handshake government. So Kalonzo was nowhere close to working with Matiang'i. And he says, for Gachagua, I know him because for the time they have communicated after being impeached as the governor. Why? Now, let's find the reason why Gachagua had to apologize on this, or talk about the reason why he have to apologize. Yes, that one is apologizing to Matiang'i because Matiang'i also, when in other parts, said like, I don't see any bad reason whether one should be credited as, should have a fault or be called names for joining any party. One can be in existence of ODM and still fight for the rights of the country or the needs of zile vitu zenye Kenyans wanataka, au mtu pia anaweza kuwa kwa DCP. He gave the examples, but DCP termed Jubilee as a red wheelbarrow, by the way. And so red wheelbarrow is so popular for in Kenya generally. It is only Matiang'i who can campaign in Nyanza. It is only Matiang'i who can campaign in Pwani without talking about kuzos and saying whatever it is, as prompted by Rigathi Gachagua. So it's big. Gachagua going alone. Matiang'i going alone is a crush to opposition. And Gachagua admitted that by saying, if we give Matiang'i to leave us, then we are giving away for Kasongo, then that can't happen. Yeah, can't happen. Yeah. Now, I've said Matiang'i can campaign everywhere. Matiang'i is so popular. Kenya knows Matiang'i. We've seen whatever he did as Minister of Education. We've seen whatever he did. He was so, strong, to put in lay's language, in Ministry of Independence, Ministry of Interior, more than the current one. Kenya knows what he's capable of. Yes, even if it's whatever happened, he says, by the way, that whatever happens in Rivayala, he have no hands on that. So, and Kenyans saying the only person that we believe in, Kenyans, is Fred Matiang'i or Kalonzo Musyoka. They are not giving option for Rigathi Gachagua because they're saying Rigathi is not an option. Maybe we try up Kalonzo Musyoka. So on the other hand, Kalonzo Musyoka is experienced, Chief. Kalonzo Musyoka is experienced. On the other hand, Kalonzo weighs a lot. That's why broad-based government is still going for him. Kalonzo still believes that in Nyanza, they can vote him. And it does not believe Nyanza can vote. He is going to vote Kalonzo. The Nyanza vote is going to be divided if Kalonzo Musyoka is a presidential candidate. It says that Kalonzo is going to go home with the highest percentage and Ruto going home with the rest. Because Ruto believes that it is only Nyanza and other regions like Turkana and those parts that can cover up for Murima votes. Of which right now, up to right now, there's still those from Murima who is in broad-based government. And Kalonzo believes having Matiang'i, oh no, not Kalonzo at that point. I believe Kalonzo having Matiang'i as VP will influence a lot from Western Kenya. That is Nyanza and Western. And then coming to Coast. Hey, by the way, United Opposition walipata mall. Walipata leader from Coastal, that is Jichopevu. We don't know what will Jichopevu bring on the table, but a lot will come into that particular table. But the hugest ticket that is going to create, maybe can send us to runoff, if not one term, is that of Kalonzo Musyoka and Fred Matiang'i. And opposition must just know it. Without Fred Matiang'i in the table, they're not even close to winning the presidential election. Not even close. Without Fred Matiang'i. But also, some of an analysts are suggesting that maybe Jubilee maintain that they're still in Azimio, and Wiper saying they're out of Azimio is cracking. It's cracking something. Maybe somebody is a mole. Remember, everybody in politics, they're accusing each other of moles. Recently, Gachagua was accused of being Ruto's mole, and now Gachagua accused the other person of being somebody's project. Gachagua also went ahead of accusing Kenya Moja of being government's project, and therefore being cautioned by Kenya Moja leaders led by Sifuna as chief. Don't term everybody as a project, because we knew to oppose Ruto even before you started. Now, all the best to whatever the reshaping that is happening in Kenyan's opposition sphere. If they get united, they will win against President William Ruto. But let's wait until next year. That is 2026. Oppositions are winning in Africa, and they are winning because they are united. And if they are not, two time is sure for Kasongo. Now, they say also that Gachagua is not an option, but Gachagua says it's an option. It's not an option. So automatic ticket that Kenyans are seeing, but get ready that the opposition flag bearer candidate is Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. And by the way, no any other time, or yes, up to this time, bro, time in Aisha, it's almost over. So I don't see at a point where Kalonzo will be convinced to join broad-based government. And also, Ruto is very strategical, bro. You see, it's very strategical. I don't know on what he will do to ensure that opposition is crippled. But he will do, things will surprise us 2026, inshallah. But I assure you, Kalonzo-Matiang'i ticket can send William Ruto home or bring us a runoff. And don't underrate Matiang'i. And don't underrate Gachagua. Gachagua is the next Raila. All the best. Thank you for watching till this end of the episode. And I sure, by the way, you take vote, register. Saa hii vitambulisho ni free. Kuchukua kitambulisho, chukua na hakikisha umevote. Umewait to vote for 2027 or by election happening in your area. Ensure that you just register as a voter. Let's prepare for by election. Till next time, this is Arego. Dango.